Hello there, my name is Trivertical, and this is my first video. I mean, you guys saw the title of the video, so let's just get into it. Let's be honest, we knew this one was going to be right here on the list. So what makes this game a horrible, horrendous, mind-bogglingly unfun game? So bad. Well, just to give you an idea on this game's controls, they feel like gravity just likes to change itself for no reason. Then there's the stupid levels, which are a problem because what Nintendo basically tried to do was create a game that was harder than the first game. But they focused so hard on making it hard that they didn't focus on how fun it is to actually play. Let's say you were in a Super Mario Maker 2 level that simply looked like this. Yeah, it's hard, but no one wants to play that. Plus, the game is copy and pasting levels over and over again and slightly changing them. Like, I could seriously go on and on about this, but I mean, you kind of get the idea. Look, I get it. This is a very nostalgic game for some people, but that's no excuse for it. The only thing I can see carrying this game is its music. I've seen people try to argue that the game is creative compared to most Mario games because of how much new stuff it brought, but almost every Mario game brings more new things than Mario Land ever did. And considering the fact that there are only 12 levels in the entire game, it seriously shows how quickly this game can get repetitive. But now it's time to talk about the absolutely terrible physics. I know that this game was the first Mario game ever released on handheld, so it was hard to create good physics, but that doesn't change them from being incredibly clunky. See, there are numerous examples I could give, but one that stands out is how gravity works. You see, if you jump off a cliff or a block, gravity works normally. But if you just walk off of it, you just immediately fall to the ground 10 times faster. Yeah, it's better than Mario Brothers 2, but it wasn't enough to pass the next one. If you consider this the best Mario game, you need to visit a hospital right away and get that brain damage of yours checked out. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but I legitimately know people like that. The thing is, while this game has a lot to offer, its levels get repetitive and it's so mind-blowingly easy. Well, except for certain levels, but we don't talk about those. Hold up, this isn't the third game in the new series. Anyways, the biggest thing about this game has to be the insane amount of coins in this game. The biggest reason people don't like this game is because there are way too many coins. It's to the point that you receive a prize for collecting 9,999,999 coins. And after playing the game for around 10 hours, I'm close to collecting that prize. Plus, the life counter can go past 99. It basically takes skill to get a game over considering how many extra lives you'll be collecting. But I would argue that the coins don't make the game bad. You see, the coins, while being just a simple thing that you touch and collect, are actually satisfying to collect, especially all at once. Plus, there are so many creative ways that Nintendo had players collect the shiny coins that it honestly is impressive how many they came up with. But other than that, it's just the most generic New Super Mario Bros. Game. Even with all that said, it still gets pretty boring really quickly. Oh, what a cool game. I wonder what its main theme focuses on. Oh, look, cats. There's cats everywhere. In the trees, in the grass, the flowers, the enemies. Oh no. Man, this place seriously has more cats than Cat Island in Japan. Everything has just turned into a furry. Wait, let me just fix that title really quick. Yeah, huh. Okay, there we go. But I mean, come on, did everything have to be a cat? Like, just look how they massacred my boy Plessy. In all seriousness, though, it's a good game, and it would be way higher on the list if it didn't take 2 minutes to beat. Okay, jokes aside, yeah, the game is extremely short, which is a shame because it had so much potential. I get that it was for the 35-year anniversary of Mario, but if they just had gone past that, it could have been an amazing Mario 3D World sequel. Look, it's way better than Super Mario Land. The graphics, the physics, and even the enemies and power ups are improved. But yet, it's still here on the list. Well, that doesn't mean it's a bad game. We're to the point on this list where the games don't really have that many cons to them. But really, this is a great game. It's so amazing because it has worlds that are extremely creative. Like going to space, inside a tree, through Mario's pants. It's amazing. Okay. I know a lot of people will hate me for putting it right here, but honestly, while being one of the greatest stepping stones in video game history, it had to be right here on the list. Again, we're to a point on the list where there are few cons per game, and this game is great for having a taste of that arcade feel. It's simple. You're this character that goes through 32 levels where there will be enemies that you'll have to dodge, but if you game over, you start all the way at the beginning. It's great and it's simple. This is the most mediocre game of them all. There's just an equal amount of good and bad things, so that's all I'll say. Another 3D Mario game. I wonder what exciting adventure and beautiful worlds. It's just a 2D Mario game in the third dimension. Okay. If I were to describe this game in one word, it would be repetitive. And that basically sums up the entirety of this game. What's really crazy is how in a single year, Mario games went from this to this. Shame, really. But I will admit it is somewhat fun and enjoyable to play these levels. I gotta admit, I even like how simple the graphics are. Not many games can accomplish having such simple and amazing graphics that fit just like this. Okay, so this was the first game in the new series, and at the time was the first 2D mainline Mario game in 14 years. So I'll give it a pass on this one. But even if we were to compare it to all the games in the new series, really this one has to be the most creative one. To start, it's the only one where every boss is unique, which gives it more character than you'd expect. Then there's the music, and I gotta say, it's the best music we've ever gotten ever since in a new series game. Plus, there's that absolute banger of castle music. While some people out there consider this to be the best Mario game, I don't entirely disagree with their opinions. This is one of the most influential video games in all of history aside from Super Mario Bros. It added a lot of things that we still see in lots of video games to this day. The game is so fun to play as well, and even the graphics hold to this day. Well, unless you're that one guy who decided to discover this masterpiece of an area. The second ever 3D mainline Mario game is amazing, considering we were receiving this good of graphics. This is honestly impressive, but let's also focus on how good the story for this game was. See, before this game, the game was like, oh no, Bowser kidnaps Peach, so go save her, something. But now there's a main plot and everything. Aside from three horrible levels I consider to be some of the worst levels in Super Mario Sunshine, or Super Mario in general, the game's levels usually hold up in terms of difficulty, which is really important in video games. But even with all that said, oh man, some of these physics. The good SMB2. And it's definitely not a remake of any other Japanese video game out there. Jokes aside, this game is great. The worlds feel great, everything is extremely creative, and it even encourages kids to not eat vegetables. Truly, it's really described as the black sheep of Mario games, but that doesn't make it bad. In fact, it makes it the opposite of that. It took 6 whole years for us to get an update in the mainline Mario series. 6 years! What is this, Geometry Dash? But jokes aside, this game is never running out of ideas. It's constantly pumping out with the newest and greatest ideas. You never know what'll happen next, and it's not even scary or anything because you know that the game is always going to present it in the nicest way possible. It's seriously an outstanding game, even if we had to wait 6 long years. So, this may be controversial to some people putting this one this high on the list, but I genuinely think this was the peak in the new series. 4 player mode was added, and while that does sound chaotic, oh my goodness, does it create the best memories you will ever have in your life. Well, unless you're me and you don't have friends, but still, I've even seen the presidents of the US have fun in this game. Even without the co op side of it all, it's really fun to play and always will be. The themes hit hard along with most of the levels, and the graphics are amazing. Plus, it's on the Wii, so it gets bonus points for that. This is the best 2D Mario game, and you can't change my mind. It's not even like it's nostalgic for me or anything, as I first played this when I was around 11, and even then the game was 31 years old at the time. But it's just a great game in general. The graphics are still some of the best to this day. The game has great levels, and there's just a feeling of being in a whole new world of Mario that you're not used to. I constantly see people praising the game to this day. Plus, it added Yoshi, so it gets 10 bonus points for that one. And it inspired some of the greatest ROM hacks slash fan games to ever be made. Super Mario Galaxy. If I were to describe this game in one word, it would be beautiful. The graphics are absolutely phenomenal. The music hits the soul, and the creativity is mind blowing. This game was above and beyond for its time, and I still believe this game never fully got the attention it deserved. First of all, before I even begin to talk about this game, I'm just going to tell you that this game is the best in terms of graphics. But let's now just talk about how huge this game is. I could go on and on and on about how amazing the worlds are with their separate themes. I just want to explode when talking about how great this game is. It truly was the gift that kept on giving. There were endless possibilities. No one ever ran out of things to try in this game, ranging from glitches to insane parkour challenges. This game was and still is incredible. Nostalgia in a nutshell. If you've played this game even once, you know how even new players will find its charm. The game was the first ever 3D Mario game and revolutionized the gaming industry forever. Even though the game has the most game breaking glitches of all time, somehow, unlike Super Mario Land or Super Mario Sunshine, it just adds to its charm. And if you've ever seen a Super Mario 64 speedrun before, you can just feel the excitement that this community will forever bring to this game. Even some of the graphics still hold up to this day. Ah, here we go. The most controversial opinion of them all. Let me explain myself. First of all, the graphics in this game are often overlooked. I mean, just look at how beautiful this is. Second is how the levels are always creative. Well, except for Flower and Star World, but it doesn't even matter as those are two of 12 worlds in this game. The sound effects are also by far the cleanest out of any Mario game out there. Let's just hear this coin sound effect or this click sound effect. Sure, everyone has turned into a cat, but this game mode is actually really fun to play around with. Plus, the music in this game is great. This game always stood out to me in a special way. Ah, crap, I couldn't get the sound effect to work. Okay, let's see, how was it? Do, 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 delete, I don't remember. I'm going to be honest. I've only seen one other person on the internet say this is the better Galaxy game, and I don't even remember who they were. And I understand not many people may agree with me, but that's okay. You clicked on this video to hear my opinion, and that's what I'm about to give you. First of all, the music, in my opinion, is the best out of any Mario game out there. The graphics are outstanding. There's always more stars for you to collect, leading to a long game to enjoy. I mean, you can tell if the world record is around 9 hours for speedrunning. Ugh, imagine sitting there for 9 hours trying to not make a single mistake. Anyways, the community has been growing more in the recent years, and it's so underrated that it honestly angers me sometimes. I mean, if we're comparing this to the original Super Mario Galaxy, in terms of music, they both have their amazing tracks that I honestly would consider it a tie. The story in one is better, but the levels are better in my opinion for two. I mean, Super Mario Galaxy is not bad at all, but Super Mario Galaxy 2 was basically like an expansion of Galaxy 1. It had all the great qualities from the first and just added on to an already amazing game. I mean, this is also the only Galaxy with Yoshi, so Yeah, after that rather small explanation on this game that I could possibly go on for hours and hours, I hope you can see why I would consider this the absolute best mainline Mario game to ever exist. So, yeah, that's my first video. If you enjoyed, please consider gently touching that like button and tapping the subscribe button to kickstart this channel. And I'll see you in the next video.